All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am James Oliver Jr., CEO of the Parentpreneur Foundation, where we empower Black parentpreneurs so they can leave a legacy for their beautiful Black children. Man, we have a super dope guest in the building today. You know, we always have our flamethrower out, bringing the fire. It's what we do, and today is no exception. So I'm going to introduce Elana Ostrega in a moment. She's the VP of marketing for ClearCo, which is a really great company because so many entrepreneurs, and especially in our Parentpreneur Foundation community, they need money, but they may not want to raise venture capital. And ClearCo is a really great way for them to get funding without diluting their equity. So I'm gonna get into that in a moment. But before I do that, I just want a little housekeeping. So I think last time we talked about the Toyota grant that we received in honor of Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. I mean, there's a word I can't stand, minority. Like, how do we get that word to just go away? Like, I'm just not here for it at all. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, so we got a grant, so we're paying for therapy, mental therapy for 50 more members of the Parentpreneur Foundation community. That's the one thing that we do here that I'm most thankful to be able to do because of the stigmas and stereotypes around mental health in the community, despite the fact that in the Black community, we need the help a lot. So that's one thing. And then second, I think I mentioned that we are a part of this USA Today National Fundraising Initiative, and I'm super pumped to announce that David Cohen, co-founder of Techstars and chairman of Techstars, just announced yesterday that he's doing a matching $5,000 grant of this work that we're doing. And so if you would just go to the Parentpreneur Foundation page, I think the post is probably at the top of the page. You can click there. Please support us so we can continue to do this important work, building community with Black parentpreneurs, empowering them, and just getting it done. So before I bring Elana on screen here, I'm just going to read a quick bio. All right, so with over a decade of marketing experience, Elana Ostrega, yes, I said that the proper way because we're going to put some respect on her name. Elana Ostrega fully understands the challenges that small and medium-sized businesses face, from helping businesses recognize, communicate with, and reward their customers at Vicinity and Loyalty One, to heading marketing at Goldman Sachs-funded Financial. Hopefully, I hope I pronounced that correctly, Elana. Elana's career has seen her tackling these challenges on many fronts. As VP of Marketing at ClearCo, Elana is working to amplify the ClearCo brand and ensure all founders have access to the tools required for rapid and sustained growth. Elana Ostrega, the mic is yours. What's going on?
Hey, thank you so much for having me. That was such a good intro. That was made me sound much more impressive than I am. So I really appreciate that, James.
Well, you sent it to me.
You know, I guess someone else wrote it. I don't think I did. But thank you.
So
I appreciate it. And I'm really glad to be here. I love what you guys do, and even just your short little comments about providing support for mental health and all, it's something that's really close to my heart, especially being a parent myself, being a working parent, being a hardworking parent, being a founder of my own business, working, constant hours at ClearCo. And so, it's something that we definitely need to talk about more. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. Oh, so you just dropped a little. I didn't know you had a little side hustle.
It's a side hustle. It's not entirely live yet,
okay,
but it's something that I'm working on. It's working for ClearCo gives you the bug, and it's that I want to start a business. I want to do something on my own, and you have all the resources at your disposal, especially when you work for a company. So why not?
Right. And so the other thing that I discovered from talking to you when we were in the studio before we came live is you actually have young, people know. I have 8-year-old twins, boy, girl, #twin-NATO. That's what I call them. Am I lying? It's a twin-NATO, right?
It's a twin-NATO. It is a constant twin-NATO in my house.
Right. Well, they're going to get older. It's just going to be it'll be calm. And then next thing you know, a tornado blows through and the furniture is flying around. And then it just dies down because they go back upstairs, and that's going to be your life.
It's my life. Yeah. I have 2.5-year-old twins. They are beautiful and amazing and smart, and they keep me on my toes. So it's great.
That's what's up. So let's just dive into it here. So I have some questions here, and I know you had a deck, but we decided to just go through the questions. And if we need to spin up the deck to get a little more detail in some of this, we can do that. So let's talk about like what inspired the launch of ClearCo.
Yeah. So our founders, Andrew D'Souza and Michelle Romanow, they started this company in 2015. And it really sprung out of the need for, I think they had their own journeys with, starting their own businesses, right? So Michelle started this really interesting caviar business. She started, a couple of other interesting companies before she sort of hit it big with another company that she sold. And throughout the entire process, funding was just sort of like at the forefront of every conversation, right? As it is with a lot of entrepreneurs trying to scale their business and get it to the next level. And so, because they had so much success and speaking with other founders about the funding experience, they thought, how are we going to turn the balance of power so that we give founders access to this capital without having to go through this process and ultimately most of them failing, right? At actually attempting to get funding. And more so than that, it's not just the funding, but it's, okay, what do I do now? What do I do to scale my business now that I actually have this money ultimately available to me? And so it was the sort of intersection of those two things to try to get the power back into the founder's hands as opposed to the investor that sort of led them to this idea and the inception of ClearCo, ClearBank formerly, and now ClearCo.
Yeah.
And, since that time, I guess you could say we are now the biggest e-commerce investor in the world. And we've invested, $2.5 billion into over 5,500 founders to date.
Wow.
And I think we've done just that. We've shifted the balance of power, and we're only just continuing to grow and share in the success of all of these amazing founders that we've had the amazing ability to work with.
Yeah, and you guys do all that without taking equity in your companies, right? How does that work?
No equity. So it's really interesting. So we work in a completely different model than a traditional VC. So traditional VCs, they take your soul and your equity, and we don't take either of these things.
Not
right?
The soul, Elana.
I know, the soul. They take your soul, and we don't take
Oh
either
my
of these
God.
things. Keep your soul. Keep your children, your twins.
What, they taking
And
the twins too?
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's ridiculous. And
God.
ClearCo doesn't do that. We let you keep all of your equity,
And your
and
kids.
and the kids, and we just work in a completely different model. And so we fund, anything from your marketing to your inventory, any sort of overhead that you have on the operations side. Extending your runway was something that was really important to a lot of people during this entire year, right? Is like, how do I keep afloat during this time and sort of pay for the expenses that I need? And we don't take any equity. We just, use a flat fee, 6%. And we're like, okay, give us this here's the money. Here's a 6%. Here's how you remit. And we basically take a percentage of your daily sales until you're fully paid off. We can get into a bit more detail on that later.
No, so I assume that's like, that happens automatically. You got like a little widget on the side. You get a sale. You get your cut right at the top, right?
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah,
We predetermine the remittance rate with you based on, how the trajectory of your business. And it's usually between like 1% and 20%.
Okay. Wow. Wow. So I mean, could be as low as 5 or 6%. I mean, that's just bananas.
Well, the fee is
that's
6%.
so great. Yeah,
so
that's so great.
To put it into perspective for everybody, as an example that I always use, if we give you $100,000 and your fee is 6%, you're going to give us back on top of that $100,000 of capital, $6,000, right? So right up front, I'm taking out this much, you're giving me this much capital, this is how much I'm paying you back. And that remittance is from your daily sales. So every day as you make sales, as you grow, because you're using this money to fund your growth, we will then take a percentage of that on a daily basis until we recoup our $106,000 essentially.
Gotcha. And how much you're making is going to determine whether it's 1% or 20%.
Correct. That remittance rate is agreed upon when you actually take the funding. We'll say, okay, based on this trajectory, on this growth that you're having, your remittance rate is 12%, or your remittance rate is 2%, right? And then your payback period is usually about, I would say, 4 to 5 months on average, depending on the business.
So you're going to take 6%, which is basically like interest, call it, for example, and then, but will a portion, will it also be, is inside that 6%? No, you got to pay back the principal too, right? Like how's that's going to be principal plus 6%, or is it 6% overall?
Well, you're paying the $106,000, right? So you're paying the $100,000 that we gave you. So we give
Right.
you $100,000 on day one,
Hmm.
right? You
Hmm.
start paying that money back on day one. So you can use that money and then we'll take a percentage of that until we recoup the full
Right. On
$106,000.
every transaction. Right.
Correct. Every transaction that goes through, it's a little bit different on the inventory side. On the inventory side, your payback period tends to be a little bit shorter, but it works very similarly, and it's quite simple. If you really think about how difficult it is to pay investors back, or when you take out a loan from a bank and you're
Right.
paying interest and the complications associated with that, it's like
Right.
our terms are actually very, very simplified, and we pull it straight out of your accounts that you're using. You're
Right.
making money comes in, and then we can take that right out. And it's so
Right.
easy.
Yeah. No, that's great. So you said inventory. So wait, so you guys are funding product-based businesses who have to pay for inventory too?
So typically we fund e-commerce businesses,
Okay.
SaaS businesses. That's typically like our sort of customer profile.
Sure.
If you're looking for marketing capital, we do have a set of criteria and inventory capital as well. So, for our typical merchant cash advance product, we call it our MCA. I realize I have to not use acronyms during this
Right.
conversation as to
Right.
not confuse people.
Thank you so much
Um,
for
no
that.
problem. But for that product, we or with the marketing capital product, people use it to fund their marketing. With the inventory product, they're using it to fund goods, but they are e-commerce businesses overall.
Right. So if they have dolls or something they sell online, but they still need to pay for the dolls.
It's pay as you grow, right? So I'm doing exceedingly well, and I need to purchase inventory, and my manufacturer said I need this money in 24 hours, and
Mhm.
I'm sitting there owning this business thinking it's amazing that my business is growing and I have so much demand for my product, but I actually just
Yep.
don't have the capital to pay this
Right.
$150,000 for these dolls, to sell
Right.
all these amazing dolls. And so in ClearCo comes and we say, no problem, we'll get you that money in 24 hours. You can have
Hmm.
this $1 million for your inventory. And then we set the payback, and that's it. And it's actually that simple, right? So I
Hmm.
would say most people use it for their marketing to sort of, grow their business. We're talking Facebook marketing, Instagram marketing, all of that good stuff, so that people know
Hmm.
that you exist in the world and you can grow. And inventory for those people at that level where they need to pay for inventory up front in order to grow their business, and this is really the only way that they're going to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So somebody has a question. What are the criteria for marketing capital?
Yeah. So the criteria for marketing capital is that you have to be an e-commerce business that is making, on average, $10,000 per month. And so the way that it would work is that you would connect your, Shopify account, your WooCommerce account, wherever you're using for
Hmm.
your transactions, where your store is, right? And then your payment processor, like Stripe, for instance, would be connected. And we will see all of your transactions, and we will be able to determine from that if you are in fact making a revenue of $10,000 per month. And that's
Hmm.
sort of our minimum criteria right there. If you are making that, you will be eligible for a marketing capital product. However,
Wow.
if you're making less than that, don't worry, because
Oh.
we have our a new product,
Oh.
and it's called Clear Angel. And Clear
Oh. Look at
Angel,
you.
yeah, Clear Angel is an amazing product. And so I just think this is really important for people asking about the criteria, because you can be making as little as $2,000 a month to be eligible for the Clear Angel product. It works in a little bit of a different way, the way
Yeah.
that the payback is. And we provide a lot of support and coaching through the process to get you and level you up to that point where you are actually making $10,000 a month. That's the goal for us there.
So if I have $2,000 in revenue from my e-commerce business, I mean, I know your website says you could get from 10,000 to several million, but what can I get if I have only $2,000 a month in sales?
Typically between $20,000 and $50,000, but we will go up all the way, in depending on your business. I mean, we say that the Clear Angel product's for people who are at that early stage, right? The early stage is people who are making about $2,000 a month, but because the Clear Angel product has all of these other things like insights, determining where you should spend your money, coaching aspects that are very, very one-to-one. Ultimately, people, I would say, come first for the support and second for the capital when it comes to the Clear Angel product. But that's where they would really fit in.
I didn't know about this before, Elana, but I want to talk to you offline about, can we do something for the members of my Parentpreneur Foundation community with your Clear Angel product, like really try to drive, because I know we have a lot of people in our community for whom that product specifically would be. We have people across the spectrum. We have people who would benefit from the main product, but that one in particular, like I feel the pain of these people are just trying to get, they need some help. So can we talk about that offline, how we could do that?
Honestly, I would love nothing more. It's one of the most wonderful products that we have, just for the sheer fact that the stories that I hear on a daily basis for people who are using Clear Angel product, and it's like actually changing their lives. Like we have seen people making as little as $500 a month who are not even eligible for our funding, but we say, hey, no problem, join anyways, right? Join the program. You don't need to take capital from us. Because it's a rev share model with Clear Angel. It's a little bit different. Okay. And we bring them on board in a way that is like using our freemium type of model. Mm-hmm. And we support them and we say, get to that $2,000 threshold, and we will help you get to that $2,000 threshold. And then we will give you capital, and then we will help you grow. So honestly, I would love to do something with your entire base.
Wow. This is amazing. All right, we're going to circle back on that.
For sure.
No, you're blowing my mind with this right now. And I know the people in our community who hear you talk about this, they're going to be like, wait, to the what? Like, you're going to help me get to $2,000 a month in sale if I'm not already there? And then you have a program for me, I can get capital. And then from there, I can jump into this, like a training wheels program, right? Then I can get into the big bicycle program with the 10K,
Yep.
It's just.
I like that. We never really called it the training wheels program, but I actually really appreciate that because it's almost exactly what it is, right? Like you have the training wheels on until you're really ready for somebody to be like, let me push you off, right?
Yeah.
And I think that that's super important because one of the biggest things that we see, even with our marketing capital product, is people who they don't have that sort of progress report of where their business is. And they don't have that ability to understand their competitors, what their competitors are doing to get them to that next layer. And so, before even getting that initial investment, it's really a matter of like, what do I do and how do I get there? And we are absolutely in the game of trying to help you get to that place where you can get that initial investment and know what to do with it when you get it, right?
That's so good. Well, yeah, it's in your best interest to make sure they know what to do with the money when you give it to them so you can get your money back.
Yeah, but also I think it is obviously that we want our money back. Don't get me wrong. But I think, the idea is that we like to think of ourselves as more of a community, and we don't want to turn anybody away. And I think that a lot of people, a lot of individuals, a lot of business owners are being turned away for various reasons. We fund, 10 times more women than, the average VC. I think the stat is actually, it's 8 times more women, but the stat is actually crazy. So if there's 8 women out there, venture capitals typically would only fund 1 of them, and we would fund 8 of them. And so we are attempting to, level the playing field for everybody, for women, for people of color, for minority groups, for everybody. We want to make sure that everybody has access to capital no matter what, right?
My wheels are spinning as I'm listening to you speak. And like, I can envision we could create like a ClearCo subgroup inside the Parentpreneur Foundation community that is exclusive for around this program and the content that we could post in there, right? And then link back to your stuff and like be like a source, almost like a source of deal flow for you guys.
100%. Not only that, like deal flow, but think about all of the, content that we create for various groups of people. And we're happy to provide and curate content for,
oh my God,
like your entire network.
Oh
like
God.
it would be incredible to us because
oh my God,
it unlocks so much opportunity.
Yeah, man, for everybody. It's for all of us. Like we all win, we all eat. I freaking love it. Yes, we are
Yeah.
going to do it. We're going to do it.
Guys, we're doing it. I'm so
No, we're going to do
excited.
it. We're going to do it. This is amazing. This is amazing because look, so one of the reasons I'm going to digress a little bit, but I'm so emotional and passionate about this work because one of the reasons the Parentpreneur Foundation community is growing so well. We're at 1,500 members now. We had 60 less than a year ago in August, I think. Well, actually a year ago. So we're like,
Wow.
blow, right? But in our engagement metrics, we use Mighty Networks, which is phenomenal. We actually had Gina Bianchini. Do you know Gina or know of her?
Yeah, I know of her. Yeah, of
So
course.
Gina came and did a talk with us a couple weeks ago, talking about how to build a monetized community. And I love that we're using Mighty Networks. It's just this beautiful platform. But one of the reasons our community is doing so well is because this great founder market fit. Like I am them, they are me. And I understand, I feel their pain to use, was it, Bill Clinton, I feel your pain. I feel your pain. But I'm so passionate about this because like I've been through a lot. I don't want so many of these people who are aspiring entrepreneurs or new entrepreneurs to go through what I've been through as an entrepreneur. And I could literally cry with you talking about that. And I'm excited to spin up some stuff around that. So pivoting a little bit here is, so what 3 mistakes do you see people make when they're applying for funding with ClearCo?
Well, so it's interesting. You had given me this question initially and I was thinking about it a little bit because there are really no mistakes that you can make, right?
Oh.
And I'll tell you why. Well, all we need from you is to be completely transparent and we are transparent with you in that we need some data to make an assessment of funding, right? And we need some information to be able to say, we are able to give you funding. And that data is really like, what is your business bringing in on a day-to-day basis, on a month-to-month basis?
Mm-hmm.
And are you an e-commerce business who sells, the majority of your goods online?
Mm-hmm.
And that's really as open as it is. At the end of the day, like we are not checking your credit score. We don't take any personal guarantees. We don't put liens on your homes or anything of that
We're
nature.
not taking your kids.
We're not taking your kids or your soul, like we said. We are not a traditional bank or VC, right? Like
right.
we just say like, if we see performance and we see trajectory of your business, we will match that with what we give you in return, which is, the equity free capital and the coaching and the platform and the insights to be able to, scale up your business and grow. Ultimately, what we want is for people to join us at this level of earlier stage, where they're sort of in this point of, I'm not quite sure what to do. I've tried all these different avenues. I either don't have the ability to go further because I don't have the money, or I have the money, but I don't have the access to the information and the insights. So I'm not able to make the correct decisions for my business, and then grow you to that next level where you're sort of at that growth stage now and you're looking to scale and you're looking to purchase more inventory and get to that level. But there's really no mistakes you can make except for, we need this information to be able to make a decision on you. If you have, very poor credit, that doesn't matter. Right. So there's no
your business
mistake.
is what your business is. It doesn't matter.
The business is what your business is. And we are using your business accounts to make this decision in terms of what your business is making. Right. So any decisions that you've made in your life, any things that have happened on the personal side, like those things are really not a part of the conversation, which is why we say it's really access for everybody. It doesn't matter where you've been or what you've done. It just matters what you're trying to build. You're trying to build something, and we don't want to stop you from getting there.
No, that's right. And so you mentioned WooCommerce and Shopify, but what if I have a custom website and I use Stripe? Is my Stripe dashboard sufficient as proof?
Yeah, no, that's a payment processor. The payment processor will divulge all the information that we need to access it. And so we basically, as a secondary thing, ask for your WooCommerce and your Shopify accounts. But actually what we mainly need is your payment processor. So that's what we consider your business account where all the money flows through, right? And so if we have that information, we can ultimately make any of the decisions that we need to be able to move forward with providing you an offer.
Amazing. So you talk about resources. So for example, if I needed $50,000 to turn up, put some gas on my social media advertising fire. Yeah. So then presumably you guys have a network of people that you can introduce them to that can manage that money for them to effectively get the ROI that we all are looking for. How does that work?
Oh, yes. We have a huge partner network. And so we rely on our partner network very heavily. And we have something called ClearMatch. It's not a dating service, although people have asked. But actually, Clear Match is, yeah, when we launched this on social media, everyone's like, you guys are starting a one-to-one dating service. It kind of is, but it's a dating service for businesses and for, agencies, right? And so we work with thousands of agencies, and we basically will make a recommendation to you to say, you are here, and this particular agency or this particular software or this platform can actually help get you here. And so our whole goal is to match you with somebody to bring you to where you aspire to be. And we do it based on data, right? So we say, if you're making this much money and you're spending on Facebook and Instagram, clearly there's ultimately the opportunity for you to optimize those and figure out how we can gain efficiencies with your return on ad spend and things like that. So we use all of these metrics to make the decision and to match you with somebody who will ultimately bring you that benefit.
Yeah. No, I asked that specific question because we have a guy in our community who's phenomenal. Him and his partner used to work at Facebook. They have an agency. They're doing a great job. So I'll definitely reach out to him and tell him about your.
Pass him over. We'd love to join him to our partner program.
I'll definitely ping him about this.
For sure.
This is really, really, really remarkable. So what are? So I actually just answered my one question, but maybe there's more. I don't know. I said, are there any exciting programs you just launched or coming down the pike? I mean, that Clear Angel, Lord, that's incredible. Like
Clear Angels is amazing. We're also working on some other things for later stage businesses as well. We're working on a buy now, pay later product. We're working on some other things that are really, really interesting. And so, there's also
buy now, pay later is for my customers, right?
Correct. Yes, as an e-commerce business. And actually, the other really interesting thing is that we are working on, some marketing as a service, like offerings as well. So ultimately, for some businesses, again, like we said, you're requiring that one-to-one support. We have an in-house executive who is a marketing executive who will provide that one-to-one support for certain levels of businesses. So once you get to that certain structure. And so we're working on a couple things that are sort of in their limited release right now, or beta release, I guess you could say.
But
the biggest one is the Clear Angel product. And that's really something that I think will revolutionize how capital is distributed and ultimately how we, help all of these founders grow their businesses. Like that's going to be a game changer, I think, for everybody.
I'm so excited about this. And so we're almost at the end of time here, Elana. And if you have another 3 minutes after we're done, if you could hang out in the studio after the fact, and I could talk to you a little bit about a Clear Angel collab with you, if you have a moment. So let me see if I have any more questions here before we wrap up. So your bio is about tools for rapid and sustained growth. In the last 2 minutes we have, so do you have any best tips and tools for rapid and sustained growth for people listening?
Tools for rapid and sustained growth. I mean, the biggest thing I would say is focus on your unit economics and really understand your unit economics. And by that, I mean, do you have an idea of what your customer acquisition cost is? Do you really have an understanding of your return on ad spend? Those are all really, really important metrics that if you get a handle on early, you will be able to scale in a much more cost efficient way. And I think that could either be by, getting your hands a little dirty and figuring it out on your own, or you can join a platform like ClearCo, gain those insights, connect your accounts. We'll look through all of your information to see so our insights tool, something we didn't really touch upon. But once you join, you have access to all this information, benchmarking against your competitors. We used the example of dolls before. Let's use the example of dresses or something. I sell dresses online. So does this business, but this business is way further down in their growth. And this business has a return on ad spend of this, and my return on ad spend is this. And how do I get to that level, right? So that benchmarking is really, it's not from a perspective of competition. It's a perspective of how do I attain that, right? There's this responsibility that we have to help people level up. And so that's a really important notion. And I think having a handle on those metrics as an early stage business will really, really serve you well to grow.
Whew. Yeah, that's so fire. I'm excited to share this replay in our community. This is amazing, Elana. So we're at 12:30. I like to be respectful of people's time. When we shut this down, just hang out and I'll just talk about the Angel program we're just talking about. My wheels are just spinning. I'm just so impressed with everything you guys are doing. I I got to DM Andrew and Twitter and thank him for recommending that you come speak with us.
It was an absolute pleasure, honestly. Like,
yeah,
it's refreshing to speak to, individuals who, we're both twin parents, so we definitely understand each other. But I think the community itself, it's really meaningful, and I really appreciate that I had the opportunity to come here and speak. And for anybody out there, just like shout out, if you want to get in touch, you can find me on Twitter, you can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Instagram, and I will absolutely be, or LinkedIn. I will be responsive to any questions that you have. I'm very open. So if you want to follow up with me, Elana at clear.co, you can email me.
Right. And if you want to reach out to her on LinkedIn, Elana Ostrega, I always recommend if you send somebody a connection request, put a note. I mean, she's open to that, but not everybody is. Like, you just try to be my friend on LinkedIn. You don't tell me a no, I'm not going to be a friend. That's just me. I'm snobby that way. But I'm super intentional about what I do on LinkedIn. I don't treat it like Facebook. But it's different for you, though, because these are going to be your customers and whatnot. So send her a note, say you saw her on the Parapreneur Foundation LinkedIn Live, and she can help you get to the bag. So Sharon Copeland says she's interested. So Sharon just told you what to do. Like, hit her up on LinkedIn, send her a note. You saw this conversation, and she will help you. Elana, hang on for a moment. But thank you, everybody, for listening, for watching. If you're a Black parapreneur, join the Parapreneur Foundation community. Go to parapreneur.foundation.org, click Join Our Community. Please make a donation so we can keep doing this work to empower Black parapreneurs so they can leave a legacy for their beautiful Black children. Liberty, take us home.